Welcome. Thank you for joining me with another time with the Father and happy Sunday. So I'm Michelle Morgan, Dr. Michelle Morgan. My doctorate's in education. I am not a medical doctor, although I still have my grandchildren asking me to fix this or fix that when they have bobos, and I love it. Well, I have a very interesting topic, I think, today, one that you're just going to love. Did you hear the sarcasm in that? Well, you'll see the blog and you'll see some of the links below in the description, but this title is called Prayer Without Fasting. Yes, that's right. So I want to jump right in. Prayer without fasting. Well, you can pray without fasting, but try to fast without prayer and good luck. I think it's almost impossible. Almost because I think I know some people that have probably tried to attempt it and it didn't last very long because you know what? The flesh will rule if you've not brought your spirit under control. So without prayer and without engaging our spirit with the Spirit of God through prayer, a fast can just be called a diet. Well, the biblical example tells us that if we fast, we must couple it with prayer. I want to give you a short list of those that you're going to be familiar with that have prayed and fasted. So we'll start with Moses. We call him the lawgiver. Next up is David, the king, and then Elijah, the prophet. Well, let's put a female in there, Esther, the queen, Daniel, the seer, Anna, the prophetess, and then Jesus, the Son of God. And let's don't forget Paul the apostle. They all fasted for different lengths of time. They all fasted for different things. But when they all fasted, they were humbled. They were humbled before the Lord to hear his heart and to follow his will. Did you hear that? That's one of the reasons why we as believers pray and fast, so that we are humbled. We realize we can't do it without him. We want to know the Father's heart and we want to do his will. I want to tell you about some people that I'm aware of. You probably are, or maybe not, that can teach us some important things, I believe, about prayer and fasting. I want to start with Derek Prince. Derek Prince has got lots of books out, hundreds actually, but he has a video that you can find on YouTube called The Power of Fasting. I like to learn from those that I know the word, what it says about a topic, but also have experienced it. Now, when Derek came to know the Lord, he was in the military. And God began to talk to him about fasting. He was not even aware of what fasting was. But once he learned about it, he committed to the Lord that he would fast once a day, once a week, I'm sorry, once a week. Now he committed to do that, and he did it for years. And he did it while in the military. And the men that he actually commanded behind his back ridiculed and mocked him for what he was doing. He couldn't do it in private. Well, he tells over and over again in his books and on his videos of God's way of answering his prayers, miraculous ways. Miraculous ways. He testifies of the power of fasting. He calls it one of the keys to answered prayer. So I want to encourage you to listen to what he has to say, and there is a link in the description below. So Jesus has some real important words to say about prayer and fasting, and I want to read those. So we're going to read that out of the New King James. I'm going to Matthew chapter 6. We're going to look at verse 6 first. And it reads, "But you, when you pray, go into your room, and when you have shut your door, pray to your Father who's in heaven. And he is in the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly." Isn't that good? He gives you directions about prayer. Well, most of us know that, and a lot of us do that. But let's go over to verse 16 in the same Matthew 6. We're going to read verses 16, 17, and 18. "Moreover, when you fast, don't be like the hypocrites with a sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces that they may appear to men to be fasting. But surely I say to you, they have their reward. But you, when you fast, anoint your head, wash your face, so that you do not appear to be fasting before men, but to your Father who is in secret." You hear the similarities? Your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret, that's right, will reward you openly. Those are Jesus' words. So we must pray and we must fast. If we will really come to grips with it, we'll understand that it is a command. It is not oh, you can, or maybe, but it is a command. So another person I want to talk about is John Wesley. Yes, he's the founder of the Methodist Church. I'm going to have a link below of his famous sermon on fasting uh, because he has a lot to say about it, and I think you should listen. So, a voice that's in the earth today is Jentzen Franklin. Maybe you know his, no, maybe you know about Jentzen and the churches that he pastors. But he teaches a lot on prayer and fasting. Not only does he teach it, but he's written a book about it. I think one of the best books out there on prayer and fasting. And there are different kinds of fasts that are listed in the Bible. His message on fasting is full of passion and purpose and a plan. And not only does he teach it, and not only does he write about it, but he practices it. And you can find one of his sermons, a link to it in the description below. Well, what do you think my purpose is in sharing about these people and their words on fasting and prayer? Well, it's twofold. You hear me? It's twofold. I want, number one, to alert you to the things that we're told to do by Jesus, that most of us aren't doing it, but we just need to start. That's right, start right now. Well, we just ended in our church 21 days of prayer and fasting, as many churches across the globe did. Most people don't start off fasting anything for 21 days. So I want to encourage you to start with one day. Start from morning to morning. Take charge with your spirit and join God's spirit. Ask God what's on his heart and join him in prayer. Make your request known to him. And if you mess up, try again the next day. And when your stomach starts talking to you, tell it to hush. It will be fed tomorrow. Listen, fasting at the very least humbles us. It gets us beyond ourselves and into the presence of God, whom we must completely depend upon. Now, let me end with some strong statements. Please don't say I don't have time, because I'm going to say make time. Please don't say I can't because I'm going to say pray and ask God how to fast if you have special situations. He will make a way. I remember the first time I fasted. I thought I was going to die. You know what? In fact, I probably did overnight and then came back to life the next morning when my body knew that breakfast was waiting. Seriously though, start small. Give a day to God and watch him multiply back to you what you never could have imagined. Finally, I want to leave you with this thought about the prodigal son. What made him come to his senses? Do you remember? And return to the father? It was hunger. It was hunger. God is asking us to put aside some time and some food and to hunger for him. He promises to fill every gap, every crevice, and even the chasms that might be in our life. I want to encourage you to spend time with the Father and then to couple it with fasting. I'm praying for you. I know you can do it. I hope that you will at least consider it while you're spending time with the Father this week.